Considering that this is going to be based off of a manga exclusive moment, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking some animations and taking a look at some bits and pieces from other characters that are already in the game to sort of piece together what this guy might look like. How's it going, everybody? Vegeta saying, what is good to all my Super Saiyan homies, here to bring you all sorts of Dragon Ball content. Today we're going to be making a concept for a sparking Hakai Goku, or a failed Hakai Goku from the Dragon Ball Super manga, specifically the Future Trunks Saga. So with that in mind, he would be buffing both God Ki and the Future Tag. Those are going to be kind of his core teams, and he's going to be a ranged red unit, since God Ki's kind of leaning more towards a ranged setup these days, and is still sort of lacking a really solid red option. Same sort of goes for Future. Yes, LF Zamasu is very, very powerful. Obviously, there's also the red reviving cell, but both of them kind of struggle. I mean, Zamasu definitely works really, really well on Future, but in terms of God Ki, he doesn't quite fit the mold. So with that in mind, moving forward, he's going to buff both Blast Attack and Blast Defense with his Z ability for both those attacks respectively, once again being God Ki and Future. In terms of his arts held, we'd have a Strike and a Blast, but the Strike would have a plus 20% to damage inflicted, which could be really beneficial for the rest of the team. Next, moving on, we've got the green card, which would restore Ki by 60, have a plus 20% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts, his damage inflicted that is, and then increasing his own draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts. Now, in terms of the animations, think the red Future Goku that we already have, or the green Return of Cooler Goku that we also have, because they have a pretty similar animation, I would say. Next up, we have his blue card, which would be a one-arm Kamehameha, and would act as a counter very similar to the LF Namek Goku that we already have. In terms of animation, they'd pretty much be one for one, other than him giving his little scoff, and the Kamehameha being its traditional blue. With that in mind, in terms of its abilities, it would give a permanent plus 50% to special move damage, as well as his Awakened Arts, so the goal would be to fire off one of these before firing off his Awakened Arts. Now moving on to his meat and potatoes, that is, his Awakened Art, that would be the imperfect Hakai. He would get plus 150% to his Awakened Arts damage for 3 timer count upon activation, and then upon hit, it would destroy all of your enemy cards, reduce enemy Ki by 40, and inflict them with the minus 100% to Ki recovery for 10 timer counts, all while having blast armor while charging forward and not being able to kill someone. This is essentially a combination of Beerus's ult being able to destroy the enemy hand, and then Vados' green card with the reduction of Ki and the minus 100% to Ki recovery. The idea being that once you land it, the enemy is going to be left dead in the water, not really being able to do a follow-up combo, and you can take care of that 1 HP pretty easily, at least on paper. In terms of its animation, I can't necessarily think of a incredible comparison, but essentially think of Super Saiyan 4's, the Zenkai Super Saiyan 4 Goku's sort of flick that he does on the ultimate, and then rather than following it up with a Kamehameha, the times 10 Kamehameha, he would just follow it up with a Hakai that he's kind of supporting with his hand, sort of shooting down at the opponent. I guess is sort of the best way I could kind of describe it. We'll also, you can put up the panel once again to kind of compare, I guess. Things up, we'll look at his abilities, starting with his main. This would randomly destroy one of his cards and draw his Awakened Arts, restore his Ki by 20, which would be enough Ki to use said Awakened Art, and then would also pick up the buff of Nullifying Endurance for 25 timer counts. His first unique ability would grant him a few different things when entering the battlefield, first of which would be restoring 30 Ki, the next of which would be a 30% damage inflicted passive for 15 timer counts, and lastly picking up the buff of nullifying enemy cover changes for 10 timer counts, which would activate 3 times. His final passive would grant him a cover change, similar to Vados as well as LF Future Gohan, destroying 2 enemy cards at random and sealing their special moves for 5 timer counts. On top of this, when enemy combos are ended, he would increase his own arts draw speed by 2 levels and restore 20% of damage received up to 20% of his own health. That does it for this concept. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.